Hi, alright, so this is my solution on getting a 100% on any Rock Band or Guitar Hero song. So this is Beatles Rock Band we're looking at right now, and it's I Saw You Standing There on Expert Bass. And I just couldn't get it. I probably tried about 100 times. I was getting blisters on my fingers, to quote Ringo. And I gave up and I said, hey, you know what, maybe I can try another way. So I had an Arduino board and I bought some relays and I took apart my extra Rock Band controller, not my good one, but my one that wasn't working very well anyway, and I hooked it up, and I was able to get 100% on I Saw You Standing There on Expert Bass. So this is the guitar, right, and here's the strummer, which I took apart and I routed to inputs from the relay, or I guess outputs from the relay, and then here are all the inputs and outputs for the buttons. So I took apart the fret board, or the neck, and where am I? And I pulled this out of the board, and the middle one is for ground, and there's 10 others, 10 for the bottom of the neck, 5 for the bottom of the neck and 5 for the top of the neck. And with a little bit of deduction, I figured out which was for which, and so that gives me 5 plus 1 inputs or outputs that I need for the Rock Band guitar. I don't interface directly with the Rock Band guitar and the breadboard. The reason why is because the Rock Band runs on 1.5 volts and Arduino runs on 5 volts. So I couldn't just send signals from the Arduino board, which I upload code from my computer, from the Arduino developer. I couldn't use the outputs of the Arduino into the inputs of the guitar because they're different voltages and it's going to burn something out. So that's why I bought a number of switches, or relays. We can call them relays. So I have a 8 relay set here, which I bought for about 15 bucks. And again, 5 of the relays are used for the buttons, 1 for each button, and then 1 relay for the strummer. And so I was able to get it working really well. I'll do an example right now. This is on training. Let's try and time it, and so in a matter of, I don't know, maybe it took me 15 hours to get it all set up. I got it working, and now I can use it on any song. What you need is an Arduino board, a bunch of wires, 6 relays, 1 for each 5 buttons, and one for the strummer. I also needed a number of buttons for the Arduino board and a potentiometer. And so here are my 2 buttons. Here are a bunch of wires. Here's my potentiometer. I guess some resistors back there too, and so I guess you can get an understanding of what's going on here, right? So here is a single relay, hot and ground for the Arduino, and the signal which opens or closes the circuit on the other side of the switch, on the 1.5 volt side of the switch. It can handle actually 300 volts, so you could use it to start your dishwasher if you wanted to, but I'm just using it for Beatles Rock Band. And then you have common in the middle, and you have hot or open and closed on both ends, whichever way you want to do it. And so you could see that I have each ground and hot from each of the inputs of the button. So instead of having the buttons press down and close the circuit, I have the relays close the circuit. And because I know exactly when I need to close the circuit, because it's the song and it's repetitive and it's a cycle, you know, you're not playing against a boss in Castlevania or something like that, I essentially just time and I got it working. I use the buttons to interact with the song, right? To interact with the guitar. I say, you know, sorry, it's turned off, so I'm actually pressing the A button right now. And so within Xbox, when I'm navigating through the menu, I use the buttons to navigate through the menu. And then when I'm ready to go, I switch the potentiometer to be sending 3 volts, and then that kicks off the song. And this will kick off the song. I can give you a diagram if anybody's interested. I don't know if anyone's going to be interested in this at all. So this is the code that I use for I Saw You Standing There. And what I've done is I've created a number of, this is me, all the presses to beat the game on I Saw You Standing There. I created a number of functions. And so S5, S4, S3, S1, S2, 5 functions, each for one of the buttons, because I wanted to kind of, I guess the term would be, abstract away the details of pressing the buttons. So digital write to strum, then push down fret, hold it down for a while, and then open up. So high sends the voltage, which presses the button, and then fret low shuts it off. And so instead of me doing this 900 times, all these details 900 times, I write a function that does it, and then I just call the function. The inputs of the function are the time. So the time I'm going to go down, and the time afterwards for a delay. And so if we look at the code, I'm essentially just calling these functions a bunch of times. Probably, I think it's 900 times in 3 minutes. For the intro, for the first verse, for the first chorus, second verse. I have this commented out right now because I'm in training and I don't have the time to show you all this in the video. Second chorus, bridge, third verse, third chorus, solo, solo, and all the way down to outro. It's been working. You just constantly send, sorry, it's bouncy. You constantly send signals and it works. What you also notice is that I'm sending posts and downs inputs to each of the functions. Those are actually millisecond delays, but I didn't want to send the straight integer, because if I had to change the integer, I'd have to change it 900 times, and so I declare a variable up at top called down and post, and down is equal to button, and button equal to 70, and post is equal to beat, and beat equals 186. And so every eighth note is equal to 186 milliseconds. And then every button press is 70 milliseconds. And so that's actually the time it takes for a human to press a button. I started initially at like 15 millisecond click, but that's just not it's too fast. It has to be 70 milliseconds or about 100 milliseconds. And so 186 milliseconds for each eighth note. So each time a button goes by, it's essentially 186 milliseconds. Now sometimes there's quarter notes and half notes, and in that case I just send 2 beats. So if we go here and I'll show you what you mean, the song starts on an eighth on a quarter note. So I send 186 times 2, and then the rest of them are eighth notes. Bam, 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 bam. So 3, 4, 3, 5, 3, 4, 2, over and over again. And I got it working. Very straightforward. The only complexity I got was that while I guess tallying all of the commands to send, it was working out perfectly. It was like, every 186 milliseconds was perfect. But then I put all the sections together, and it wasn't working out so well. The reason why is that, this is a relatively fast song, okay? And in, I guess, 1964, when the Beatles originally did this song. I guess when they were in the cavern or they were in Apple record studio, and Paul McCartney was hitting this bass line all the time, right? He gets tired after about a minute and a half, and that 186 milliseconds for every eighth note turns into 196 milliseconds, and sometimes 206 milliseconds, particularly in the solos and the bridges. He gets tired. Honestly, he's almost perfectly accurate, and it's so impressive because he's singing the song as well. But as I've started testing to get this working, I've had to start putting in extra delays. And so if you see here, a delay of 10 milliseconds, right? So I think that's that would be 1/100th of a second. And then here, another one. And then here, another one in the second chorus. As we're moving down to the bridge, I'm adding in, sorry, this is bouncy. I'm adding in delays every measure. Every measure. And then sometimes I have to add in almost a 1/10 of a second delay for a measure. When he's going from the bridge to the chorus, I guess he just takes a breath and his fingers start hurting. So this took an extra like 45 minutes to start, throwing in extra delays. This is manual work to get it working. And then towards the end, here's bridge number 2 after the guitar solo. Again, the delays are 20 milliseconds every measure. But then finally, I've noticed that at the 4th verse and the 4th chorus, right towards the end of the song and the outro, they actually speed up again, so they're getting like a second wind. And that's how I got it to work. So we'll wait for the song to start again. I'm just doing in training intro, verse 1 and chorus, and we'll do it one more time. So I'm going to switch my potentiometer to be sending an input of 3 volts to the Arduino to let them know that I'm ready to start. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Hope it helps. Bye.